The spotlight has always burned brightly on Yandy Smith Harris and Mendeecees. They were once celebrated as the heartbeat of love and hip-hop, Atlanta. A couple admired, envied, and placed on a pedestal. But behind the glittering image, shadows began to creep. Whispers of betrayal, murmurs of deception, silent storms building where no one expected. And then, one night changed everything. The moment shattered their perfect facade. The man fans once saw as Yandy's foundation revealed a darker side. His voice, once calm, now cut like steel. Rage spilled into the open. Words turned into weapons. Accusations of secrets and lies filled the air, slicing deeper than any blade. The story the world thought it knew collapsed instantly. A devoted husband transformed into the villain of his own tale, and the picture-perfect marriage cracked before millions of eyes. Tears streamed down Yandy's face as the unthinkable unfolded. The city of Atlanta held its breath. Because this wasn't just an argument. It was betrayal. The kind that destroys trust, shatters loyalty, and leaves nothing standing. Tonight, the masks are gone. The truth refuses to stay buried. But one haunting question rises above the chaos, echoing in every corner. What truth is Mendeecees hiding? And how deep does his betrayal truly go? For years, Yandy Smith Harris and Mendeecees were held up as love's strongest example. They were more than reality stars. They were a symbol. The devoted wife who stood by her man during storms. The loyal husband who promised commitment against every obstacle. Fans didn't just watch their journey. They believed in it. Their marriage was painted as unshakable, unbreakable, a fortress of loyalty in a world built on scandal. Together, they embodied the idea that love could endure anything. But behind the perfect portrait, shadows began to stretch. Smiles masked tension. Affection covered fractures, and whispers suggested their flawless story wasn't as solid as it appeared. The cracks were subtle at first. A distant look, a missing laugh, moments when the warmth faded, replaced by silence. To outsiders, it looked like normal stress. But to those closest, it was the beginning of something darker. Yandy continued to shine in her career, building a legacy many admired. Meanwhile, Mendeecees grew quieter, detached. The man once seen as her anchor seemed adrift, wrestling with unspoken weight. Every love story has trials. But this was different. This was the slow unraveling of a bond millions believed could not be broken. The image of perfection was still there, on red carpets, on television screens, on Instagram posts. But behind closed doors, something else brewed. Secrets, doubts, and a tension so heavy it could no longer be hidden. The power couple once admired across Atlanta now stood at the edge of something terrifying. Because the love that had inspired so many was quietly slipping into darkness. It was supposed to be a night of triumph. A milestone Yandy had worked tirelessly to achieve. Family and friends gathered around a glittering table to celebrate her newest success. The room radiated warmth, laughter, clinking glasses, soft music flowing in the background. But beneath the surface, the atmosphere carried a weight that no one could name. Mendeecees sat motionless, silent. His phone clenched tightly in his hand, eyes glued to its glow. Not a smile, not a word of support. He was there, yet miles away. Yandy noticed instantly. The man who had always been her biggest cheerleader now seemed like a stranger. She leaned closer, her voice low, almost pleading. "You okay, babe?" she whispered, searching for connection. But instead of comfort, she was met with ice. "I'm fine," he muttered, never looking up. 2 words, sharp, cold, and they cut deeper than any blade. Around them, the room carried on. Toasts continued. Jokes floated through the air, but Yandy's smile faltered and her heart sank. Something was terribly wrong. Then, without warning, the silence detonated. Mendeecees slammed his glass onto the table. The sound cracked like thunder, echoing through the stunned gathering. Conversations died mid-sentence. Every eye turned to him. He pushed back his chair, the screech piercing through the silence. His voice roared with fury. "I'm tired, Yandy. Tired of pretending everything is perfect when it's not." Gasps filled the room. Yandy's hands trembled, her lips quivering as she asked softly, "What are you talking about?" His eyes burned with more than anger. They carried rage, resentment, and something darker. "You think this is about you?" he spat. "Your business. Your spotlight. Your success. But what about me? What about the lies?" That single word, lies, sliced through the room like a knife. Guests shifted uncomfortably. Family exchanged panicked glances. Everyone knew this was no ordinary marital spat. This was a volcano erupting. "What lies?" Yandy demanded, her voice cracking, tears threatening to fall. Mendeecees shot up, knocking his chair to the ground. "Don't act like you don't know. You think I haven't seen the messages? Heard the whispers? You think I'm blind?" Yandy shook her head frantically, confusion painted across her face. "What messages? What whispers? You're not making sense." But his fury drowned her out. "You've been playing me for a fool. Sneaking around. Hiding things. I've lived with this pain for months while you pretend everything's fine." His accusations struck like daggers. And then, he stormed toward the door. No explanations, no proof. Just venom and rage. He slammed the door behind him, leaving Yandy frozen in disbelief. Tears streamed down her cheeks as the weight of his words crushed her. The guests remained paralyzed. Some whispered nervously. Others stared in silence, wide-eyed with shock. Had Mendeecees just accused her of infidelity? A close friend leaned in, whispering, "Is it true?" Yandy's voice broke as she choked out the only words she could find. "I don't know. I don't even know what he's talking about." The celebration had turned into devastation. The joyful night reduced to rubble. And in that single explosive moment, Yandy's perfect world began to collapse. Her marriage, the love she had defended for years, was now on trial. Not behind closed doors, but in front of family, friends, and the entire city of Atlanta. And as the door slammed shut, one chilling truth became clear. This was not the end of the fight. It was only the beginning. The moment Mendeecees stormed out, the entire room froze. Chairs stood still. Glasses remained untouched. No one knew whether to comfort Yandy or to stay silent. It was as if time itself had stopped. Whispers broke the silence first. Soft, cautious voices that spread like sparks. "What did he mean?" one guest murmured. "Was he accusing her of cheating?" Another questioned. The celebration had instantly transformed into a crime scene of suspicion. Yandy, holding back sobs, excused herself. She vanished from the table, leaving behind unanswered questions and uneasy stares. The power couple everyone admired now stood at the center of an unfolding scandal. And then, the rumors ignited. Within hours, the story left that dining room and spilled into Atlanta's buzzing streets. Guests who had witnessed the confrontation began to talk. Some embellished the details. Others swore they heard confessions in his rage. But the truth no longer mattered. Perception became reality. By the next morning, social media was ablaze. Clips from the dinner surfaced. Muffled audio of raised voices leaked online. Headlines screamed betrayal. Yandy and Mendeecees explode at celebration dinner. Cheating accusations rock love and hip-hop power couple. Fans split instantly. Some defended Yandy, calling her a victim of baseless rage. Others sided with Mendeecees, convinced he had discovered undeniable proof. Twitter threads turned into battlegrounds. Instagram comments became war zones of loyalty and hate. For longtime supporters, disbelief turned into heartbreak. They had rooted for Yandy during her hardest seasons. They had watched her sacrifice for her family. Now, they questioned whether it was all a carefully polished illusion. Meanwhile, gossip blogs smelled blood. Every platform wanted the scoop. Every outlet wanted to claim they knew the real story. Speculation about the other man ran wild. Some suggested a fellow cast member. Others whispered about an industry executive. Theories multiplied by the hour. What began as a private eruption had spiraled into a public inferno. And there was no way to contain it. Yandy's silence only fueled the blaze. She refused to post. She refused to explain. And in the world of reality television, silence is louder than any denial. The aftermath of one dinner had become a wildfire. One accusation had torn open years of loyalty and admiration. And as the rumors spread, one haunting reality remained clear. The empire Yandy and Mendeecees had built together was crumbling. Not in shadows, but under the merciless spotlight of the entire world. The whispers didn't stay vague for long. Soon, names began to surface. And with every name, the scandal grew more explosive. The first to be dragged into the fire was Erica Dixon, a longtime cast member with her own complicated history. She and Yandy had clashed before, trading insults in front of cameras. Now, fans began suggesting Erica wasn't just an enemy. She might have been involved with Mendeecees. The theory spread fast. Screenshots of old arguments were reposted. Clips of tense exchanges were replayed, dissected, and reinterpreted. "Look at the way Erica looked at Mendeecees," one fan insisted. Another added, "She always had something against Yandy." Maybe this was the reason. But Erica wasn't the only name whispered. Jasmine Washington, another familiar face from the franchise, suddenly entered the speculation. Her past storyline had already been tied to secret relationships and hidden truths. To many, her reappearance in the conversation felt too convenient to ignore. Memes exploded. Some fans painted Erica as the villain, others pointed fingers at Jasmine. And a third group insisted neither woman was guilty, claiming the real culprit hadn't even been revealed yet. The fandom fractured. Hashtags appeared overnight. Team Yandy and Team Mendeecees. Blame Erica. Harris blamed Jasmine. Every side demanded to be heard. Every opinion louder than the last. Even cast members from the show began to drop cryptic comments. One posted, "Atlanta is too small for secrets to stay buried." Another wrote, "Y'all ain't ready for what's coming." Each message sent fans into a frenzy, searching for hidden meanings. What made it worse? Silence from those accused. Erica didn't deny the rumors immediately. Jasmine remained quiet as well. Their refusal to clear the air only poured fuel onto the flames. By the end of the week, blogs were posting side-by-side comparisons. Photos of Erica near Mendeecees, clips of Jasmine's old storyline about betrayal. It didn't matter if the evidence was weak. The narrative had already taken on a life of its own. For Yandy, the pain wasn't just personal anymore. It was public humiliation, dissected frame by frame for entertainment. For Mendeecees, it was a different kind of exposure. People questioned not only his loyalty, but also the company he kept. Names had turned into weapons, friendships into battle lines, and the scandal that began with whispers was now a civil war inside the fandom. Because in the world of reality television, once names are spoken, they can never be forgotten. And every fan believes their version of the truth is the only one that matters. The rumors alone were destructive. But then came the so-called receipts, screenshots, emails, hotel confirmations, evidence that promised to turn whispers into undeniable truth. The first leak appeared on a gossip blog late at night. A grainy screenshot of text messages allegedly between Mendeecees and a mystery woman. The messages hinted at secret meetings, coded words, and late-night encounters. Some doubted the authenticity, but others swore the wording sounded exactly like him. Within hours, more screenshots surfaced. This time, conversations appeared longer, detailed, and harder to dismiss as fake. The messages included addresses, hotel names, and even times. It painted a picture of a man living a double life. Then came the most damning blow: a hotel receipt. A confirmation email leaked online, showing Mendeecees' full name tied to a luxury suite in downtown Atlanta. The date matched one of the alleged late-night texts. Coincidence? Or proof that the scandal was far deeper than anyone expected? Social media erupted. "Not Mendeecees leaving paper trails," one fan posted. Another declared, "Receipts don't lie." But the chaos didn't end there. Because next came the audio. A recording allegedly captured Mendeecees' voice in an intimate conversation. The clip was muffled, but the tone was clear. A man speaking softly, promising secrecy, a voice that sounded hauntingly like his. Some fans insisted it was authentic. Others argued it could have been doctored. But the damage was already done. The leaks spread across every platform. Twitter threads broke down every line. YouTube creators replayed the audio on loop, dissecting syllables for confirmation. Gossip blogs posted side-by-side comparisons of his past interviews with the leaked voice. Silence from Mendeecees only made it worse. He offered no denial, no explanation, no defense. And in the court of public opinion, silence often sounds like guilt. For Yandy, the humiliation deepened. Because now it wasn't just rumors. It was evidence, real or fabricated, that millions believed. The narrative had shifted from suspicion to scandal. The leaks created a storm impossible to escape, each drop adding weight, each piece of alleged proof dragging their marriage further into the abyss. And as the receipts piled up, one haunting thought spread across Atlanta. If this much had already leaked, what else was waiting to surface? Just when the scandal seemed unbearable, a new name crashed into the storm. Raquel, a woman no one expected. A woman who claimed she had been carrying Mendeecees' darkest secret. She didn't just tell a story. She revealed a bombshell. According to Raquel, she had been romantically involved with Mendeecees for years. And from that relationship came something far more devastating. A child. The claim sent shockwaves through Atlanta. But what made it worse was the evidence she brought with her. Photos. Clear, undeniable photos of a boy who carried a striking resemblance to Mendeecees. The same eyes. The same smile. The kind of resemblance you couldn't simply ignore. Social media went into meltdown. Not a secret child, one fan wrote. Another tweeted, "The receipts keep getting uglier." Screenshots of Raquel's posts spread like wildfire. Side-by-side comparisons between Mendeecees and the child flooded timelines. For many, the likeness was convincing. Too convincing. The whispers of infidelity turned into cries of betrayal. And now, it wasn't just about Yandy being deceived. It was about an entire family being blindsided. Raquel's story didn't end with photos. She described nights of secrecy, hidden meetings, and promises never kept. She claimed she stayed quiet for years out of fear. Fear of retaliation, fear of being disbelieved. But now, with the scandal already exploding, she decided it was time to speak. Fans were divided once again. Some called her a liar chasing fame. Others insisted the child's face was proof enough. The debate consumed blogs, talk shows, and every gossip forum online. For Yandy, the silence became unbearable. The humiliation had already reached its peak. But now, the possibility of a hidden child made the betrayal feel bottomless. Every news outlet covered the story. Headlines screamed, "Secret son allegedly exposed." Commentators debated whether this would be the final nail in the marriage. Mendeecees once again said nothing. No statement, no denial, no explanation. And that silence felt louder than any confession. The Raquel revelation changed everything. It transformed the scandal from marital cracks into generational wounds. Because if the story was true, this wasn't just a betrayal of vows. It was a betrayal of blood. And for millions watching, one chilling thought lingered in the air. If Raquel's child really belonged to Mendeecees, then his greatest secret had finally come to light. The fallout didn't just stay with Yandy and Mendeecees. It spread like a virus through the celebrity world. Stars, influencers, and reality personalities all had something to say. Some rushed to Yandy's defense. A well-known R&B singer tweeted, "She doesn't deserve this. No woman does." Another reality star posted, "Yandy is stronger than most. She'll rise from this." Their messages of support gained thousands of likes, pushing the sympathy wave even higher. But not everyone sided with her. One rapper hinted at Mendeecees' struggle, writing, "Y'all don't know the pressure men deal with. Stop judging." Others suggested the leaks might have been exaggerated or manipulated for drama. Suddenly, the scandal wasn't just personal. It was a public debate. And then came the memes. The internet never misses a chance to turn pain into comedy. Clips of Mendeecees slamming his glass were looped endlessly. Jokes about secret children trended within hours. One viral meme showed a family photo with the caption, "Add one more chair at the table." Harsh, brutal, but unstoppable. Fan bases went to war. Team Yandy flooded Instagram with messages of love and encouragement. Meanwhile, Team Mendeecees trended on Twitter, defending him against the avalanche of accusations. Arguments turned ugly. Screenshots were weaponized. Even private fan groups split apart, some swearing loyalty to Yandy, others demanding people wait for the truth. Blogs thrived in the chaos. Every celebrity comment became breaking news. Every fan theory went viral. The scandal had transformed into entertainment, consumed like a scripted series. For Yandy and Mendeecees, the pain was real. But for the world watching, it had become a spectacle. A scandal so massive it blurred the line between reality television and reality itself. And one chilling fact remained clear. The louder the celebrities spoke, and the harsher the memes became, the deeper the wound cut into their legacy. Behind the cameras, the chaos was even greater. The network responsible for Love and Hip Hop Atlanta went into panic mode. Executives scrambled, holding emergency meetings late into the night. Because scandals bring ratings, but they also bring risk. Producers debated their next move. Should they protect Yandy and spin the story in her favor? Or should they lean into the drama, exploiting every twist for maximum views? Either choice carried consequences. Sponsors grew uneasy. Major brands connected to the show started questioning their involvement. Some quietly pulled advertising, unwilling to be tied to allegations of infidelity and secret children. Others demanded reassurance that the narrative would not damage their image. Then came the legal threats. Attorneys for both Yandy and Mendeecees began circling. Some evidence could be challenged as defamation. Some leaks might have come from inside production itself. If proven, lawsuits could follow. For the industry, the scandal wasn't just messy, it was dangerous. A ratings goldmine wrapped in legal landmines. One wrong move, and the fallout could extend beyond the couple. And so the producers waited, calculating every decision. Because the wrong choice could burn an empire to the ground. What began as whispers in Atlanta quickly outgrew the city. The scandal was no longer local, it became international. Entertainment outlets in London picked up the story. Blogs in Toronto reposted the leaks. Even tabloids in South Africa ran headlines about Yandy and Mendeecees' unraveling marriage. The reach was unstoppable. Clips from the dinner confrontation circulated on TikTok in multiple languages. Reaction videos from Paris to Lagos dissected every word, every gesture, every accusation. The drama had transformed into a global obsession. Mainstream media joined in. Major news sites published think pieces about celebrity relationships and public betrayal. Radio hosts debated whether reality television blurred the line between entertainment and cruelty. The scandal had become a cultural talking point far beyond Atlanta, and the memes didn't stop at borders. They multiplied across continents, adapted to different cultures, yet always returning to the same shocking theme, Mendeecees' alleged betrayal. For Yandy, the pain was now international humiliation. For Mendeecees, the silence only made him appear more guilty in the eyes of millions worldwide. This was no longer just a reality show storyline. It was a global gossip event. And the entire world was watching. Through all the noise, one thing stood out. Yandy said nothing. No posts, no interviews, no tearful live streams. Her silence became its own weapon. But behind the scenes, insiders whispered a different story. They claimed Yandy was gathering her own receipts, proof to dismantle every accusation piece by piece. Others insisted she was negotiating a sit-down interview. Not a rant. Not a rushed statement. But a carefully controlled reveal designed to reclaim her power. Producers, bloggers, and networks all wanted her first words. Because when Yandy finally speaks, the world will listen. Fans waited impatiently, begging for answers. Was she hiding pain, or was she preparing a counterattack? Would she expose her own evidence? Or would she confirm the darkest suspicions? Every day of silence only built the anticipation higher. Because when Yandy finally breaks it, her next move could change everything. The masks are gone. The secrets are spilling. And the truth still waits in the shadows. Did Mendeecees truly betray Yandy? Is Raquel's child the undeniable proof? Or is this entire storm built on manipulation and half-truths? One thing is certain, the final answer hasn't surfaced. Not yet, this story is far from finished. And the next revelation may be the one that shatters everything. What do you believe and whose side are you on? Comment below, and don't forget to subscribe.